Welcome back. We are continuing to talk about Black History Month, and joining me now are historians from the University at Buffalo's Black Student Union. Hello, Uchenna and Courtney. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Alrighty, we're going to talk about two of the most prominent Black figures throughout history. So we'll start with Marsha P. Johnson's story.
Okay, so Marsha P. Johnson, she was a Black trans woman that fought for trans and gay rights. She was notoriously known for throwing the first brick at Stonewall and was one of the first people to fight back against police at the Stonewall Inn, which was a club in Greenwich Village, and that also kick-started the whole Stonewall riots on June 28, 1969. So she quickly became a part of the fight for gay liberation. However, she was constantly going back and forth with the Gay Liberation Front, which was also an organization that kind of, helped with the Stonewall riots because of their lack of support for trans women. So her, along with Sylvia Rivera, who's another trans activist, they started STAR, which stood for the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries. And together, they built the Star House, which housed a lot of LGBTQ plus youth and also became a safe haven for trans and gender non-conforming people. And she was also an AIDS education advocate in 1990 after she sadly, contracted the disease herself. But aside from that, she was also known for her very lavish looks at all the drag shows and also just having a very beautiful spirit.
What do you know about what she did for the drag community? And what we know, a lot of cultural things and fashion and style and slang actually derived from the gay community, and particularly the Black, gay, and trans community. So what do you know about what she kind of helped spearhead or lead?
Her, along with a lot of other Black and brown trans women, they're the reason why we have, gay rights. They're the reason why we even have pride. They held a lot of the marches, a lot of the rallies, even though they were getting a lot of pushback from white queer people. They never stood down, and they always made sure to keep a close, tight-knit community and always made sure to provide for other trans people of color just like themselves. So I know Marsha, a lot of times she was that voice for those who didn't have a voice, especially against the Gay Liberation Front.
Alrighty, so now to the world of sports. Who is Cheryl Miller, and what was her journey like?
So basically, Cheryl Miller she played a pivotal role in women's basketball today. Because of her, she allowed the elevation of women's basketball to become as popularized as it is now. Through basically her achievements by leading her team, her former team, which was USC, the Trojans, she led her team to 3-time championships. And through that time that she was there, she just started getting more accolade, especially with her as a character. Her athleticism is what really allowed people to really start watching women's basketball even more. And even now, when women's basketball was, when it first came up, she even went back into the WNBA to lead her own team or coach her own team. And just basically, even today, her movement is what's allowed people teams like LSU to even get the recognition that they are today.
That's right. We saw recently LSU has gotten a lot of publicity. They did really well, and women's sports in general has come to the forefront finally, but especially our women's basketball teams. Mm-hmm. And that kind of really all started with her. Mm-hmm. Why was it so important for you guys to pick these two women and share their stories?
Well, for me, as a Black queer woman, I think representation is everything. And a lot of times in history, even in queer history, Black people, specifically Black trans women, are kind of overlooked, whether it's accidentally or purposefully. So I felt that it was important to share her story, especially to inspire other people to, lead the way that she led.
What about you?
I feel like the same thing is for me as well. Currently, I'm the vice captain of my women's flag football team, and I feel like women's in sports is very important to really show them, give them your voice. Somebody like Cheryl Miller inspires me because through her achievements, she allowed more people to view a perspective of the world that people tend to neglect. So through her, I'm able to do the same thing for my team, and regardless of just sports in general, I'm able to show people that women can do more than people think that we can do.
Absolutely. Ladies, thank you so much for coming in and sharing these incredible stories of prominent historic Black figures and people that did amazing stuff that led us to where we are now in our communities, right? Thank you so much for coming in. Listen, viewers, you can follow everything the Black Student Union does on and off campus by finding them on social media at BSU 1967.